Hello, good afternoon. You've tuned into Your Stocks coming live from the CNBC-TV18 Motilal Oswal studios. I'm Vinny Motiwala. Thank you so much for tuning in as always. And it's a good afternoon that's coming in for the markets, right? Look at it. The Nifty at 24,600, just around that mark right now. And at the day's highest point is what the Nifty is trading at. Do not forget all the indices are managing to hold on to that some bit of a green except for Pharma. That's seeing a bit of a subduedness. Mid-cap, small-cap clearly. Outperformance that's coming in from the mid-cap space as well as the small-cap as well. More than 1-2% of gains is what that we're seeing coming in for the mid and small cap. IT, that's doing well today, right? We had a brokerage note that came in as well, but IT, that's managing to hold on to strong gains. And that is also almost near the day's highest point as of now. When you look at it, the Nifty IT, 1.5% gain approximately is what we're seeing coming in for the Nifty IT. Advance decline ratio obviously clearly is in the favor of advances versus declines that we're seeing coming. And, that has continued through the day. Look at the gap between the advance and decline, right? That's just there. And we're managing to see 2,000 stocks on the advance side versus 800 odd stocks on the decline. But a lot of movers are coming in from the auto pack today. We have Bajaj Auto, Hero Moto, M&M, Tata Motors among some of the top movers coming in on the Nifty auto front, managing to hold on to good gains of more than 2% for all these stocks, right? So will be something that we'll be watching out for. Auto sales numbers is what has also come in for these companies, so keep an eye out on that. But this is a show where we solve all your stock-related queries, and that's what we'll be doing with our experts for today, Vaishali Parekh, Vice President, Technical Research at Prabhudas Lilladher, as well as Gaurang Shah, Senior Vice President at Geojit Financial Services, to answer all those queries. Gaurang, as well as Vaishali, good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us on the show. Let's get started with the stock-related queries now. First query for today coming in is from Keshav Kumar, who's writing to us from Andhra Pradesh. He's holding 100 shares of Coal India. This is at a price of 200 rupees per share. Making a profit on this one. Wants to know whether to continue to hold or look to sell and book out their profits. Gaurang, your view.
Thank you, Vinny, for having me on the show. Good afternoon to all the viewers of CNBC TV18, to you and to Vaishali. A small disclosure, all recommendations are a part of our research team recommendation. Our company, Geojit or I, we do not have any personal investments nor any kind of financial interest, no conflict of interest either, but we give recommendations to our clients on similar lines. They might hold their investment position in the recommendations that are given across. So coming to Coal India, I think a lot has improved for Coal India from the time it was hit by lower quality of coal and lower output. I think with the washeries that were added some time back, things have changed for better. And most importantly, the investment that is there in Coal India at the level at where he's got invested is very comfortable. So from a long-term point of view, you can continue to hold Coal India.
Okay, long-term point of view, you can continue to hold Coal India. Vaishali, on the technicals, what are the charts indicating for this one? Does it merit continuing to hold Coal India?
Hi, very good afternoon, Vinny and Gaurang. So I would agree with Gaurang because technically also we have seen, if you see the longer term chart, Coal India is well placed. 360 acts as a very good support level. In fact, this is also to those who would consider getting into the trade, it makes it a favorable risk reward ratio over here. And once the clarity, we see the stock moving above 400, I think it's ready for a further upside. So according to me, these are attractive levels and continue holding, of course, to those who are holding.
Okay, continue to hold Coal India. That's the word coming in on the technical as well as the fundamental front. Let's move on to the next query for today. This is an investment query that's coming from Jinsi from New Delhi. She's looking for a good stock for the long term. Gaurang, I think this is simple, right? One stock, which one should they invest in?
Well, there are one too many, right, Vinny? If you want to really go in for large cap blue chips, yeah. But if you really want to, maybe a choice of one and two, possibly L&T as well as Reliance Industries. I think these two large caps will play a very good long-term investment bet.
L&T and Reliance Industries for the long term, the word coming in from Gaurang. Vaishali, your view, anything that's looking exciting on the long term front?
Well, I would add ICICI to it. I would also add some of the metal stocks because right now what we are looking at, market is at a very good level to start looking for good quality stocks.
Okay. That's the view coming in there in terms of the names that you could look at for the long term. Let's move on to the next query. We have Vinay, who's writing to us from Karnataka. He's holding 285 shares of IndusInd Bank. This is at a price of 1,040 rupees per share. He's making a loss on this one. Wants to know whether to hold or sell at current levels. Gaurang, IndusInd Bank, what should they be doing now?
Well, Vinny, I think all the negatives with respect to the derivative loss of 1,950 odd crores is now in the price. Point number one. Point number two, uh, if I heard the reports right, there were three external agencies that were appointed for the forensic audit, and things have come out in better shape. We have a hold recommendation on IndusInd Bank, but since his acquisition price is at about 1,050 odd and the current level at 750, I think if the investor has got investable amount, he can average maybe half the quantity or less than that, whatever investable amount he's got from a long-term point of view. That will bring down the acquisition price to a very comfortable zone.
Okay, and on the technical front, IndusInd Bank, how is that looking like? Anytime soon that we could expect this, the viewer can expect their buy price coming back of 1,040, Vaishali?
Of course, it can take a while because this has witnessed a lot of whipsaws and it has been consolidating. But in my opinion, 700 is a very good attractive level. So one can average out at these levels because once you see the stock moving about 900, so for now, I would expect a range of 720 to 900. The clarity of an uptrend would be only about 900. So for now, I would just have a range of the levels that I mentioned.
Okay, keeping an eye out on those levels over there, keep an eye out on that range. You can look at averaging as well. Next query for today is coming from Matthew, who's writing to us from Kottayam, and he's holding 150 shares of Zaggle Prepaid. Price is 442 rupees per share. His investment horizon is now only 6 to 12 months. He wants to know if he should continue to hold or look to exit this one. Gaurang, your view, because it's just within a 1 year time period is max they're looking to hold. What should they do with Zaggle Prepaid, right? Overall growth had remained good for Q1 FY26, but does it merit holding it for a longer period of time now?
Well, so, sometime back when the IPO was there, Vinny, we had come out with a subscribe recommendation for the IPO, which was at a much lower level than where the stock is traded right now. More importantly, the queries for 6 to 8 months, which I am definitely not capable to answer. I think Vaishali would be in a better position to answer. But yes, business prospects look quite good in terms of long-term earnings visibility.
Okay, long-term earnings visibility is good for Zaggle Prepaid. But Vaishali, on the technical 6 to 12 months, what should the viewer do? We've seen almost a 15-20% return in the last 6 months. Does it merit holding, and will they be able to get back to that buy price of there of 442?
Well, I think so because chartically, if you look at it, the stock is corrected right from 600 levels. It did make a low at around 300 levels, and from there on, it's making higher bottom formation. So currently, keep a stop loss of 380, and today's volume also has been picking up. So I think this will very likely go towards 440 and perhaps higher from there on.
Okay, 440 and higher from there on is also a possibility. So continue to hold for this next 6 to 12 months at least. But on that note, we're actually going to slip into a very short break. So Gaurang and Vaishali, do stay on with us. But viewers, here's some good news that is coming in for y'all. India's business news leader is now going to be a click away for y'all. Introducing CNBC TV18's all-new app. Get instant access to breaking news, in-depth articles, and financial world updates at your fingertips. Download the CNBC TV18 app now from the Apple Store, Google Play Store, or you can just scan the QR code that will come up on the screens for y'all. Welcome back to your stocks on CNBC TV18. Markets managing to hold on at the day's highest point as of now. But let's get started and actually keep it going with those stock-related queries then. The next query for today is coming from Venkatesh, who's writing to us from Andhra Pradesh. He's holding 60 shares of Sun Pharma. This is at a price of 1,702 rupees per share. Currently making a loss on this one, but wants to know, should he continue to hold this, look to sell, maybe look to average? Gaurang, your view coming in for Sun Pharma, right? Obviously, we have all these tariff uncertainty that goes on. But apart from that, I do not see any problem for Sun Pharma. What's your view on that one?
It's a little bit of uncertainty was there in terms of earnings for its foreign counterpart that it acquired some time back, Sun Pharma, but we do have a positive outlook. And I definitely agree with you, Vinny, that tariff on pharma by US looks a little bit stretched out imagination because it will eventually end up in increasing the healthcare cost in US. So that's aside, but we are positive. Since he got in at 1700 and the stock is quoting at about 1560, I think it would be prudent to first of all hold on to it and even average a little bit at current levels.
Okay, that's a view coming in on the fundamentals. On the technicals, Vaishali, what are we keeping an eye out on? The stock has seen a bit of a correction, right? It's not outperformed or any sort of that. Now, does it merit maybe, averaging out? Would you agree to that as well?
Say so because 1530, 1520, that is a level where a number of times we have seen a good support taking place, and from there on we have seen a good momentum. And when I'm looking at the longer term chart also, I think it's nearly done with its correction. So 1500, 1530 is a support band. That is where he can start averaging out.
Okay, keep an eye out on those levels to average out as well. Let's move on to the next query. This is coming from Sriram, who's writing to us from Chennai. He holding 80 shares, sorry, 80 shares of Dixon Technologies. This is at a price of 3,500 rupees per share. Wants to know the outlook for Dixon Technologies in terms of a stock. How long should they be holding it as well now? 3,500 rupees is what he's bought it at, making good amount of profits. Gaurang, this is a stock that's run up a lot before. Then there was that split that came in as well in terms of the stock move as well, right? And then again, that's run up. Dixon Technologies, there's no stopping that right now. And EMS as a play, what are you watching out for now here?
So I think this one has defined the logic of gravity, right, Vinny? It doesn't seem to be stopping itself. But yeah, I mean, the sector, first of all, on the sector, extremely positive, the entire EMS segment. There was a bit of fear in the market, Vinny, because of the reach that India made out to China, whether Chinese companies will be, venturing into this EMS sector and whether it will be uh, not so productive or counterproductive for the Indian counterpart. But I believe the Indian government is going to do fair and leave out all level playing field for everybody to coexist. Having said that, no specific comments on Dixon Technologies, but it is one of the strongest companies in this EMS sector. One company that we have a positive coverage in the EMS sector is PG Electroplast. But yeah, the sector looks very positive.
Positive on the sector. That's the view on the fundamental front. Vaishali, on the technicals for Dixon Technologies, right? What are we watching out for now? Should they continue to hold? Just an overall outlook in terms of the stock.
I think it's in an uptrend. It has, in spite of all the whipsaws that market has witnessed, nothing really has happened to this stock. So in my opinion, this implies the inherent strength. But having said that, since he has bought it at lower levels, continue holding and keep a stop loss of 16,500. Because if these levels are broken, then maybe it can see further more correction. But I think with this stop loss, continue holding, we may see the stock retesting 19,000 as well.
Okay, 19,000 is also what we could watch out for. So keep holding the stock. That's the word coming in on the fundamentals and the technical front. Let's move on to the next query then for today. This is from Shankar from Bangalore. He's holding 29,000 shares of Vodafone Idea. Price is 6.37. So around the buy price is what the stock is trading at. Wants to know whether to hold or look to sell. We did have those monthly subscriber data that has come in as well, Gaurang, today. Overall, Vodafone Idea, does it merit holding this or maybe just get out of the stock and look at another name?
So, Vinny, more than the company's merit, I think government's approach is something that a lot of people get excited about as far as Vodafone Idea is concerned on the street. You're talking about subscriber base. Well, if my memory serves me right, Vinny, Vodafone Idea is one company which has been losing subscriber base to likes of Bharti Airtel and Jio. Again, no specific comments. I don't know whether this gentleman has bought it purely from a punting point of view because the quantity 29,000 that he's got. There are better players. Look, Bharti Airtel and Reliance Industries because of Geo Mobility. Vodafone Idea, since there is no coverage, I won't be give out any specific. But a lot of people are tying hope to this particular company on fallback of what the government does. So I think fundamentally there are stronger players.
Absolutely. Fundamentally, there are stronger players. And the last time we had some comments also that came in, from the telecom minister, especially on this AGR and Vodafone, where they said whatever they wanted to do has already been done for Vodafone Idea. So that is also something that, they should be keeping an eye out on. To keep an eye out on that. But Vaishali, your view on the technical front, does it merit holding the stock?
I would not recommend this. I would definitely go for a Bharti or the other ones.
Okay, Bharati Jio, you can keep an eye out on that one. Vodafone Idea, it's not a positive view coming in as of now for the stock. Let's move on to the next query. We have PC Acharya, who's writing to us from Bangalore. He's holding 200 shares of CG Power. And this is at a price of 550 rupees per share. They're making a profit on this one. Long-term prospect of the stock he wants to know. And Gaurang, obviously just last week, I believe, we had that news flow that came in that CG Power is launching its first OSAT facility as well. We've seen that stock run up that day. Your view now for CG Power. Continue to hold this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And the investment is at a very comfort zone, Vinny. We are positive on the stock. We have a whole recommendation on CG Power. And you're absolutely right. It was the facility in Gujarat that they have kicked off. And it's a huge manufacturing facility. I believe it is in Sanand, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere near Sanand in Gujarat. We are positive on the stock. So hold on to it from a long-term point of view.
Absolutely, Gaurang. Yes, it's at Sanand in Gujarat as well. So that's an important and positive update that came in. But Vaishali, on the technical front, what are the levels that now they should be keeping an eye out on?
Well, I would say this stock has been consolidating for a very long time at around 680. So if longer term is the time period that one is considering, 650, 660 is a prominent support level. Today, in fact, it has opened with a gap up. So that implies the strength and more pickup to set in. So I would say for a near-term perspective, look for a target of 750 to 800. But if time is not a problem, I think this will go perhaps to 900 levels also.
Okay, 900 levels also. Is it something that it could reach? Long-term story. That's what we're talking about right now for the stock. Let's move on to the next query, and that's coming from Kiran Kumar, who's writing to us from Chennai, holding 150 shares of Tata Motors. Price is 432 rupees per share, and wants to know the long-term view for Tata Motors. Gaurang, your view for Tata Motors today, obviously, surely among those names that are buzzing in trade after, we're seeing those whole host of auto sales numbers that have come in. But for Tata Motors?
I believe Mr. Kumar, if he's bought at 432, Vinny, you must have surely seen the price of 1100, right? Tata Motors.
Yeah.
And from those levels, it has retraced almost 50%. But having said that, we remain positive. I think the free trade agreement between India and UK should augur well. The agreement between UK and US also should augur well for Tata Motors. And of course, revival that is happening in China should also support the luxury segment sales side number as far as JLRs are concerned. We are maintaining a hold on Tata Motors. I think from here on, the downside looks very protected. And of course, there is this demerger news also happening of commercial vehicle and passenger vehicle. Let's hope, focused strategy for both the businesses should augur well in terms of earnings visibility.
Okay, so continue to hold Tata Motors on the fundamentals. On the technicals, Vaishali, what should they be watching out for? Do you think that 1100 could come in at least within a year now?
Well, I would go step by step because it has been a laggard all this while. But I would say 600 is a good support. The stock needs to go above 750 and sustain above that to aim for higher targets. So let's wait for it to cross at least 750.
Okay, wait for it to cross 750. They are making a profit on this one, but hold on to Tata Motors. That's the view coming in on the fundamentals and technical front. Next query for today is from Aman, who's writing to us from Mumbai. He's holding 70 shares of Eternal, obviously Zomato or Eternal as we know it, 230 rupees per share, making a profit. Wants to know the long-term bet for Zomato. Gaurang, a lot of times we have, right? And now Swiggy coming into play. Would you still say that continue to hold on to Zomato, or maybe, look at Swiggy as well?
Well, I think, Vinny, honestly, there is enough room for a lot of players to coexist. Yeah. And Zomato, Eternal, or Swiggy, as a matter of fact, they are the pioneers in this particular, quick commerce. I remember very well, the IPO was at about 76, if I'm not mistaken. That time it was known as Zomato. We had come out with an IPO note at that point of time, and post that we had come out with a standalone fundamental recommendation on Zomato, now Eternal, of course. Blinkit is doing very well. And that was one of the concerns for the markets when they actually took over that business and the price that they pay. Fast forward to the current situation with 2,000 dark stores, if they are able to do that by end of this year, I think the reach is going to be phenomenal. At the same time, they're planning to go into newer geographies, tier 2, tier 3 cities. and encash on the subscriber base. Long term, hold on to it.
Hold on to it for the long term. And Vaishali, your view coming in for Eternal, what should they be doing? Continue to hold on to the stock? Last 1 year, we've seen an uptick of almost 31%, right? But it has had its fair share of ups and downs.
I agree. So the recent rally that we witnessed is right from 200 to now at 320. Today's candle also, we are seeing a new round of momentum setting in. So that means it's a one-way rally, but still the indicators do not show that it's exhaustion or overbought situation. So I would say continue holding, keep a stop loss of 305, because once this momentum continues to show further up move, this can go towards 350, 380 from here on.
Okay. Continue to hold Eternal for the long term. That's the view on the fundamentals and technicals. But that was the last query for today. So Vaishali as well as Gaurang, thank you so much for joining us and helping our viewers solve all those stock-related queries. And as of now, markets almost at the day's highest point, actually. 24,610 is what the Nifty is trading at. 180 points uptick is what we're seeing. IT continues to be that outperformer today, and Nifty Bank also managing to hold on to gains of 0.5%. So no complaining as of now this afternoon in terms of the market. But that's all the time we have on this edition of Your Stocks on CNBC TV18. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, you can always email us your queries at the email ID at the top of your screens for you all. But don't go anywhere. The last round of trade is still pending, and you have closing bell up next for that.